Hello booktube, hello book friends, welcome back to my channel and another tag video. This is the halfway to Halloween tag. So I've kind of bumped this to the sort of top of the queue because of the timing, and this is an original tag by Lauren at Happy Haunts Library and Jen at Literary Love 123, I think. And I was tagged by Brian at Adventures in Literature. Now, I think I need to say at the outset, Halloween doesn't really cross the Atlantic in the same way as perhaps it does in America. And I say that from a complete place of ignorance, given that the only experience I've got of Halloween in America are films and television programs and things like that. So, but my perception is that it is very different, as is the view today, if you may have noticed. So yeah, I think just to preface that some of these tag questions, they're not irrelevant, but I think they have very different answers that someone in the US might give to someone in the UK, and me in particular, I guess. But let's give it a go. There are 9 questions and a tag other people prompt. So let's go. Question number 1. Are you a fan of haunted houses? I wouldn't say I'm a fan or not a fan. I think growing up, there were a couple of houses in the village that were not necessarily derelict, but perhaps a bit neglected, that were probably generally considered by the kids in the village to be haunted, and probably weren't. They were probably lived in, but just by people who, for whatever reason, weren't able to kind of keep them up. So yeah, but I don't particularly. I don't seek out haunted houses or anything like that. I don't know whether this means the sort of fun fair type haunted houses, in which case, yes, I've been to a few, but again, not a particular. They're not the sort of thing that if I go to a fun fair, it's like, no, I must go on the ghost train or the haunted house or whatever it is. So yeah. What is your favourite ghost story or haunted lore? I think my favourite ghost story is The Signalman by Charles Dickens. I quite enjoy, I think probably because it's Dickens, but also because I think it's one of the first ghost stories I think I was aware of, as written as a ghost story, and that is actually because I saw a television adaptation of it back when I was, I don't know, fairly young, I should think, with Denham Elliott as the title character, and yeah, I think I quite enjoyed that. Also, like M.R. James and H.P. Lovecraft and Ambrose Bierce, and quite a few different. Classic maybe isn't the right word, but the not kind of the more modern horror novelists, perhaps, is the best way to describe them. Question 3. Do you plan on Halloween decor hunting this year? If so, what items do you hope to find? I think this is one of the questions where this does not apply. We don't. I think growing up, Halloween really was just a kind of another day. We might have read spooky stories or told spooky stories, but we certainly didn't, decorate the house. I think that's changed a little bit now, but kind of more for young kids than anything else. But I wouldn't say it's, again, and this is my ignorance of what actually happens in the United States, in the sense of, you don't go down a street in the UK and in every town and village, every house is decorated. There will be the odd house that's got decorations up, but it's by no means every house. And the majority of people, it doesn't mean anything. So no, I won't go Halloween decor hunting, and I don't hope to find anything in particular. I do see stuff in the shops, but it's not going to be something that I'm particularly going to do. Candy corn, love it or hate it? I had to Google it because I didn't know what it was, and I think I probably wouldn't like it looking at it. It just doesn't look very appealing. So again, another one that doesn't cross the Atlantic. But yeah, I had to Google that. Sorry, I didn't know what it was. Are you big into costumes and dressing up for Halloween? If so, what's your favourite costume of all time? Again, no, we don't dress up. It's just not, we just don't do it. Sorry, this is going to be a very boring tag if you're big into Halloween. I think the last time I dressed up, went to a fancy dress party, I didn't have a beard for a start, and I went as Austin Powers. So I had the big kind of flowery shirt open at the neck with the medallion, and yeah, baby. Number 6. What is one activity or experience is on your spooky season bucket list this year? I haven't particularly got one. I mean, we might watch normally there's lots of scary movies on at Halloween. So we might watch if there's something in particular on that we haven't seen, we might watch a scary movie of some kind. Number 7, what book, series or movie screams Halloween to you? I think sort of some of the sort of Stephen King novels like Salem's Lot, Christine, they are quite, I mean, they're not set at Halloween in particular, but they are kind of quite spooky novels. Movies, the kind of the Scream franchise, that's kind of a thing that's, this is Halloween, but not anything, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, to be honest, and when they do come on, it tends to be at Halloween, and I'll probably maybe watch one. I mean, there are movies that have scary elements to them, but I don't think they are kind of like horror movies. So yeah, not again. This is turning into quite a boring tag. How do you typically spend your Halloween night? Pretty much the same as I spend most nights. Reading a book. I can say it's not a particular thing for us. And what does Halloween mean to you? I think you could probably work that out by my previous answers. It doesn't have a particular meaning. It's not something that we celebrate. And I'm not saying that's true for everybody in the UK. Some people do go a bit overboard, but we never have, and we don't, and I don't think we ever really will. I mean, it is a friend's birthday, so sometimes we might exchange birthday greetings, but above and beyond that, no, we don't really do Halloween here. Number 10, stag your spooky friends. Tag your spooky friends. I might tag some people in the description box. I think I'll have a look and see who else has been tagged first. But if you feel the urge, by all means, go for it and have a look and answer the questions. Particularly if you're in the UK and you have a different opinion to me, because I would. And if you do that, please tag me so I can watch. Just because I'd like to I don't think I am typical or atypical, but it would be nice to know what other people in the UK do, and what I'm missing out on, maybe. Thanks to Brian for tagging me, and thanks to Lauren and Jen for coming up with the tag, and thank you to you guys for watching, and I will speak to you again next time. Take care now. Bye bye.